do a just refresh. Yesterday we have seen about waterfall model and as well as spiral model, right? So now you understood, right? When you are just going to use the waterfall model. So when waterfall model, in the waterfall model, the requirements should be very much clear. Should be clear and complete in the starting itself. Then the people are going to choose the waterfall model. If the customer is going to provide the complete requirement, they are going to choose the waterfall model. And when we are just going for this spiral model means, see, customer is not clear about the complete requirement, but some of the requirements was very much clear. Actually, he has knowledge about the complete requirement, but only he has confidence on some set of requirements. So what are the things that he is very much confident? We are just going to take that particular things and we are just going to proceed. And our development process is going to be, looks like it's a spiral. So it is slowly, we are just going to increase the requirements and we are just going to develop the complete system. So this is the way, if we are just going to do means that it is going to be considered as a spiral model. Okay, the next model we are just going to see here is, it's a V model. See, why they are calling this model as a V model means, actually even for just look and feel itself, it is going to be like a, just it's going to be like V shape. It is going to have, it's in a V shape. So what is the things that why it has been designed in a V shape? What is the reason means? See, they have subdivided this model into two types. One is developer's life cycle and tester's life cycle. So here, when the developers will start some set of documentation part and all, right? See, usually from here, we are just going to get the requirements. So the customer is going to be here. 1 second, I'm just going to see here the customer is going to be. So customer is going to provide the requirements to our company. This is the customer. So if he is going to provide the requirements means, there will be like development team will be there, testing team will be there. Correct? We are the testing team. We are just going to, testing team means it's nothing but QA team. We are just going to call as either testing team or QA team. Okay. See here, when the requirements is given, that requirements is going to be provided to this development team as well as to the testing team. What we will do means, we also, as a developer, they are going to validate the requirements. They are going to read the requirements and they are going to come up with some set of what are the things that is fine, what are the things that is not fine, and all those feedbacks will be given by this development team. Feedbacks. In the similar way, as a testing or QA team is going to see, they are going to test this for their development purpose, and they are just going to make sure if there is any corrections they want to do means, they are just going to make the corrections at the requirement stage, it's requirement documentation itself. Okay. So initially, if you see here in the development stage, first we are just going to get the business requirement specification. So business requirement specification from the customer, we are going to get the requirements. That requirements, our management team is going to prepare the business requirement specifications. That business requirement specifications will be provided to both the development team as well as to the testing team. Here, we as a testing team, previously what it was when we are in waterfall model or spiral model, right? When we'll be getting that, when we are just going to involve in the testing stage. So see, second. See, we are just going to involve first initially the requirement stage will be there. Requirement stage is going to be there. Then after requirement gathering or analyzing stage, there will be some system design phase will be there. So previously in the waterfall model, we will not be actively participate in these particular phases and all. So in the system design, after system design development, and after development only, we or the testing team or QA team is going to actively participate in the previous model, like waterfall model and all. So till this point, the testers is not responsible. So these people also going to get the documents. These people are also going to study the documents. We are also going to study the documents. But here we want to study the document and we want to test the software which has been developed by the software by the development team. Okay, that's what usually we'll be doing in the waterfall model. But when it comes to the V model, right? Here we as a QA team is responsible for testing the documentations also. So here we will not do any documentation wise testing and all. We are just going to do only software, developed software testing only we are just going to do. You are able to understand this in the waterfall model or spiral model. Spiral model. What we are just as a test engineers, we are just going to test only this software. But here when it comes to the V model, they are involving the testing team to do the documentation verification. Documentation, they are asking the testing team to involve in the documentation phase, and they are asking, they will be every time they used to provide all the documents to this testing team. And we as a test engineers, before testing the software, we are just going to read the entire business specification document first, and we want to provide our accept, like we want to do the we want to accept. So saying that all the requirements which has been given by the customer, that requirements are very much good, or otherwise still in this requirement there is some gaps are there. So or we may face some kind of issues at the development stage in this particular points. Like that, we are just going to test the documentation itself. Here what we are just going to do, we are going to test the documentation, and we want to provide our acceptance. You are able to understand this? We previously we will not do this document verification and all. We will be after, see, initially business requirement specifications will be provided. After that, design phase will come. This system requirements phase, system requirement specifications and high level design documentation will be prepared. And then low level design documentations will be prepared by the system architecture, high level and low level. So here, based on this requirement specification document, system design specifications, they are going, system requirement specifications documents, they are going to prepare. And then high level and low level design documentations they are going to prepare here, right? So this is the documentation phase. Once that all the documentation, system design, everything has been done, means then only we are just going for the coding. The real developers are going to code this particular requirements. You are able to understand this?
Yeah.
Okay. See here, till this point in the waterfall model, spiral model, we are not responsible for verifying these documents and all. But here in this, when it comes to the V model, so we are the responsible for verifying this document, and also we want to make sure we want to give the approval for this documentation, means acceptance. So see here, when the business requirement specifications has been prepared, at the time we as a QA team, we want to provide our we want to do the acceptance testing in the document, in the business specification documentation, and we want to provide our approval. Once we also provide the approval, then only it will go to the next phase called system requirement specification phase. So here also, see, they are going to prepare this system requirement specification phase in the system requirement specification phase. But what after preparing, that is going to be shared to the QA team, that is testing team. We as a QA team, we want to validate, we want to verify, sorry, not the validation. Here, if you are just going to verify the if you are going to check the documentation and provide the approval, means that phase is called verification phase. Once the coding has been developed and you are going to test the real software, means that phase is called validation phase. Here you are just going to verify only the documents and you are going to give your approval. But after the software is developed, you are just going to provide the, you are just going to validate the system. Okay, that's what is going to happen here. So now the system requirement specification document is ready. We want to just take this system requirement specification document and we want to do a verification. So if you are just going to agree that the system requirement specification document is covering all the points, so nothing to worry here, like you can just move forward. If there is any drawbacks or any gaps or anything, if you are just going to find out, right? Because as a test engineer, see why they are asking you to verify these documents means, see, maybe you as a test engineer, you will be thinking more than a developer. Definitely you want to think more than a developer, because so developer usually what he will think, he will be thinking only from the technical perspective side, he is going to be very much perfect. But when it comes to the functionality side, right, we as a QA team or testing team responsible for checking out all the functionalities of the system, and also the complete system functionalities will be well known only by this QA team or testing team, because we will be reading more on the requirement specification documents and we will be understanding who is exactly the customer is, so what the customer expectation is. So we as a QA team, always our thinking should be, so we should think from the customer point of view, who is the customer for this application, for whom we are developing this application. So if the customer is really like for example, you take, it's an Amazon customer. So how many users there are going to be in this system? So what is his expectation is? So how the look and feel of the system should be? So what are the things that needs to be really, it should be incorporated? So, and also you may already, you as a testing team or QA team, you have already tested maybe like if you have already tested one or two applications, means definitely you will be having some set of knowledge. So in that projects, what are the errors you have faced? So that kind of drawbacks and all, if you are going to find in the documentation stage itself, means that is going to help the team to do the corrections in the documentation stage itself. Before it goes to the development stage, we are going to do the corrections in the documentation stage itself. Because of that, what is the advantages of this? So instead of finding out the bugs or defects or change requirements after the development is done, then it's going to be wastage of time of all these resources who has like they have worked for the documentation, designing, coding, all these people, unit testing, all this time is going to get wasted. Because if you are going to find after this particular phase that particular issues, then again they want to come back to the requirement phase, they want to correct the document, system requirement document, they want to correct design of the system. They want to again develop. Again, it is going to, they want to retest again, and then only it is going to come back to you. So like this, if it is going, means a lot of time is going to get wasted, and a lot of resource is going to be utilized for this. Am I right? So to avoid such kind of scenarios, instead of finding out the bugs in these particular phases in the system integration or acceptance after the developmentation, instead of finding out the issues or bugs in this level, if you are going to find out that gaps and all in the documentation itself, means it is going to be corrected in this particular stage itself. So there will not be any wastage of time for the other peoples to rework. Correct? Am I right or wrong? See, if the documentation itself, they are going to correct it, right, then the coding, the developer is going to code correctly. If there is any mistake in the documentation, means that documentation mistake is going to be done in the design also, system design, and as well as the coding also, it's going to be wrongly developed. Then he knows that he does not know the system is wrongly designed. He is going to do the unit testing, and after taking it into the component testing also, we will not be able to find out. When it comes to the system integration testing, right, then only we will be able to find, when we are testing the complete system, right, at that time we will find the issues. So if you are going to find the issues at this level, it is going to be again rework for all these guys, right? Again, what is the issue that you find? Any requirement is not good or anything. So again, it is going to come back from these particular points here. So correct. Again, this business requirement document should be corrected. System requirements specification document should be corrected. High level document should be corrected, and the low level design system should be corrected. And again, they want to recode after doing the changes only, they'll be able to get the correct thing. So these, to avoid such kind of things and all, they want that testing team or QA team needs to be involved from this documentation stage itself. Right? You are able to understand? So we are just going to give approval in this particular stage. Then it is going to the system requirement specification document stage. Here they are going to prepare the complete system requirement documentation. Once it is done, they are going to the next level design phase. In the design, we are having two types of designs are there. One is high level design and low level design. See, high level design, what is mean by high level design means? High level design means it's nothing but here, based on the requirement, they are going to prepare one set of documents in a high level. So they are going to have only that module names and all here. And low level design is the one which they are going to design the complete system. Architecture will be the development architecture. He is going to design how the system should be. But the coding and all, the developers are going to do the coding based on this particular design. So how the system should be, this architecture is going to design here. Based on this as an input, the developer is going to develop the code for each and every modules which has been designed in the low level design. So once the real software, here only the real software is going to get developed. Once this has been developed, software has been developed, it is going to be the same, who is going to do the unit test? Unit test will be done by the either developer or tester.
Developer.
Yes. Here, the code who has developed, the same person is going to, either the same person or otherwise internally there will be some set of other developers will be there. So they are going to do the unit testing. We are just going to do the testings. We are just going to involve after this unit test. Like we are going to do the component testing. Component testing means what? See, either you can call it as a task or otherwise component or module. So what are the bits and pieces of the code that has been developed and given to the developer? That bits and pieces of the things, either it may be a component, it may be a small task, or it may be a module. So whatever the things that has been developed, we are just going to test that particular module or component. And then if there is any bugs, we are just going to find out that we are just going to report to the developers. If the developer says that like this is the requirement error, means again this requirement error will be gone to this top level management, like business analyst or product owners. Product owner, again they want to change the requirements, they want to change the requirement document, again they want to change the specification documents, then they want to change the high level design document, then they want to change the low level design, and then they want, these developers want to re code, and they want to change the code, whatever the code that has been developed. After that unit testing, again it is going to come to the component testing for us. See, as a test engineer here, when the after the coding is done, means we are going to code, we are going to test the real software in these three phases. See, but in this verification phase, right, we are just going to do the same kind of acceptance testing at the business specification level. In the system requirement documentation level, we are going to verify in the system and integration related testings in the documentation level. Here in the high level design also, we are just going to do the component related testing. Here we are just going to do first phase, we are just going to verify the documents and provide the approval. After coding is done, and we are going to test the real software in this particular phase. So if you are just going to find out a lot of issues in this particular phase itself, means, so after the development is done, you will not be able to, you will not get much issues in this like in the developed software. There will not be any much changes. Maybe some developers mistakes can be, you can just find out only the developer mistakes. You cannot, you will in this V model, most probably all the requirements related things and all, you are just going to identify at this verification stage itself. You will not, here you are just going to validate only the software. You are not going to verify any requirements, because requirement verification and all, it's already done. They have developed based on the requirements only. So this is the way, because like this is the model, like once component module testing is done, again we are just going to integrate all the modules and make it as a complete system, and we are going to test the complete system here. The entire system testing we are just going to do. Once we are just completed the system testing, then finally we are just going to send it to the customer. Customer is going to accept. Here tester also should get accepted, and then customer also should get accepted. Okay, you are getting this point, right? Here both the people, like as a testing team and customer, both needs to provide the approval. So this is the V model. Why they are going, see here this phase we are just going to call that verification phase, because we as a test engineer, we are going to involve only testing the documentations. Here we are just going to do the documentation testing. Here you are just going to do the real software testing, component testing. So that real software, if you are going to test that phase, you are just going to call it as a validation phase. Here two phases will be there. One is verification stage phase, and another one is validation phase. So this look and feel itself, it looks like a V model, right? That is the reason they have like they are calling it as an V model. Okay, so development V software development model, V model. You are getting this point. When you are just going for this particular V model related stuff, means, see, if the requirements needs to be tested and validated by the test engineers at the starting stage itself, because maybe this type of requirements already the testers has faced maybe in one or two applications. So this kind of knowledge, already these test engineers are having this knowledge. So if we are going to involve these people in this particular documentation stage, means definitely they are going to do the they are going to rectify a lot of issues in the starting stage itself. So because of that, they are going to save the money, because we will not get more issues after the developmentation is done, and more number of resources is not required here. Time also will get saved. Lot of advantages are there because of this V model. You are getting this point? I want response from everyone, because I just want to understand everyone is able to understand. Or if you have any doubts also, please let me know. Please ask me.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, and then if you see here, next one is, so V model is done. Next one is incremental model. See here, why we are just going for the incremental model means, see, particularly till now, what are the things that we have seen? See, after completing each and every phase only, we are just going for the next phase, correct? But when it comes to the incremental model, so see here, we are just going to have, first initially we are going to start the requirement analysis, correct? This requirement analysis will get started. And then after doing some analysis, we are just going to get the requirement from the customers, and we are going to do the analysis of the requirement. Once this analysis is done, right, then we are just going to do the design phase. So once analysis is done, we are just going to go for the design phase. See, here what we are just going to do here means, see, the customer initially, if he is going to give only some set of requirements in the starting stage, and then later point of time, like within maybe 1 or 2 weeks of time, okay, they are going to provide another set of requirements also. See, for example, I'll just let you know. Okay. See here, now initially the customer required maybe some set of 10 requirements is there with the customer. Okay, maybe 10 set of requirements are there. Think that like 10 set of requirements. Okay, so initially he is very much clear about one requirement only. Okay, so first initially what he is doing means, so whatever the requirement, he was very much clear, only one requirement, right? So that requirement he is going to provide it to our IT industry, and we are just going to take that particular requirement, first requirement, and then we are just going to proceed with our analysis part. So here we will start doing analyzing with this requirement one. So analysis will be done. Like we are just going to check all the requirements which is given by the customer is fine or not. Okay. Then like once this analysis is done means, so these requirements can be individually developed or not, or otherwise there is any dependency is there. So such kind of lot of validations we are just going to do some analysis part here. Then after analysis, once analysis is done means who and all going to involve here in the analysis stage. So all the business analyst people or otherwise product owners, they are going to do the analysis at this stage, and they are going to send it to the next level. What is this next level? Design phase. See, now in the meanwhile, for example, you think that we have started this at like maybe like today they have provided like 12th, they have provided this requirements, and we have started analyzing that 13th we have done our analysis. 14th we have done our analysis. Then 15th we are just providing that to the design phase. Okay. Here in the meanwhile, so this in this 10 requirements, this customer is going to set ready with another set of requirement also. Second requirement. This is the first requirement. This is the second requirement. He is ready to provide the requirements to us. So what they will do means they will be providing the requirements on the 13th. So 13th they are going to provide the second requirements to us. So in the 12th we have started analyzing. 13th also we have done the analysis. In the 14th almost we have done and we have provided it to the design phase. In the 13th, right, like they are going to provide this, they are going to come up with the second, because they got clarity on the second requirement, customer got clarity on the second requirement, and they have provided it to us. Like in the 13th they have just provided second requirement. So what we will do means, we will just we will take this requirement, and on 14th we will start our analysis part parallelly. See, that is going on. See, design phase started, and again, like after design, it will be sent it to the development. And once the development is done, it is going to be provided to the test engineers or QA team. Once QA is done, we are just going to release it to the to the live environment, or we are just going to release it to the for who is that, acceptance testing, AT, acceptance testing. So now that is parallelly it will be it is going on like this. Now on 14th we have started analyzing the second requirement also. We got the second requirement, we started analyzing on the fourth requirement. See here, who and all the people will be involved? Business analyst, product owners will be involved, right? These people will be doing this particular analysis. In the similar way, when they have done this analysis and provided it to the design phase, these people will become free, right? So now they will take these particular requirements and they will start doing the analysis. From here, in the design phase, like architecture is going to involve architecture, and then like development head, maybe managers are going to get involved here. Then this design phase is done, the architecture is going to provide it to the development team. From here, development team is going to involve development team. After development team work is done, it is going to provide it to the QA team. QA team is going to take care of the things. See, once after completing each and every phase, right, these people are going to become free, right? That people are going to come and take over this particular phase 2 related. See here, so maybe this one, it is going to get started at 12th. Here, this phase 2 is going to get started at maybe 15th, 14th or 15th. This phase 3 is going to get started at 20th. Okay, something it's going to be like that. Finally, once if all these phases has been, incremental 1 development is done, incremental 2 development and testing both is done, incremental 3. So all these things are going to be slowly, it is going to release each and every phase, and we are just going to integrate each and every incremental phase in this particular time here. And finally, in the ending of the thing, we are just going to get the complete requirements. So you're able to understand this. So this, yeah. So why? What is the advantages of this particular incremental model means? See, if the customer is not clear about the requirements, so he is clear very much in bits and pieces of the requirements, means they are going to get this particular requirement. What is the requirement? He was clear. We will start our development for that particular phase. And what is the other part of requirement? He was clear. When he was clear, he is going to come up to us. At the time, we will start then and there. See, we will not wait for the customer to get the complete requirements. So whatever the requirements, he is ready with the things. we are going to start our work. We will not unnecessarily wait for him to do the complete requirement analysis and come back to us. We are not forcing him to do the complete requirement gathering and come to us. Okay, so that is the reason customer also will get the application as soon as possible. So parallelly, he will be also working with us. He is going to provide the complete details to us. In case after getting this incremental, just by looking into these things, he may get some more ideas. He may give some add-on related requirements in these particular phases also, third phase or fourth phase. So like this, it is going to get continued like an incremental. So we are just going to, our releases are going to be in an incremental manner. So you are getting this point, right? That is the reason they have marked it as incremental model. Okay, you got it right. This is the incremental model.
Yes.
The next model which we are going to see here is iterative model. See, there is a little bit difference is available in between this incremental model and with this iterative model. Okay, what is the difference is, see here, in this iterative process, it starts with simple implementation of subsets of the software requirements and iteratively enhanced the evaluation version until the full system is implemented. That means, see, for example, here the requirements like actually the customer has come up with the complete requirements. Sometimes customer can come up with the complete requirement, but in that complete requirement, right, sometimes they may not have clear picture about this, but it's not a matter. Like they are going to provide the entire top to bottom requirement. We as a team, what we are just going to do here is, we are just going to take that complete requirement and we are going to break that requirement into some set of builds. So separate some module wise, we are just going to split off these things. And then first module, we are just going to do the design and analysis for the first module parallelly. See here, maybe some 2 to 3, like 1 or 2 people here, they may work here. If, for example, we are having totally 10 developers are there, means here 2 developers will be working. For the next, like for the phase 2 related requirements, some 3 developers may be working. So some here 3 members, here 3 members, and here 4 members. We are just going to split off with different teams internally, and we are going to split off this particular requirements into some set of separate modules or something, and we are just going to develop, design, and do the design phase and development phase parallelly. Here everything is going to develop parallelly. See, that is the thing. They are going to call it as a build 1 release, build 2 release, build 3 release. See, but all the requirements are going to be parallelly. It's going to get developed. What is the advantages of because of this? What is the advantage means? See here, if all the people are going to involve only in this particular phase, means the finally when the outcome is going to come, right, at that time this customer is not able to view the entire things. Initially, like an incremental model only, they will be able to view some set of things. Okay, so like, but the customer is not expecting that. The customer need all these things should be developed, and at a time they will be providing one time for this. Like, so in a one stretch, they want to complete all this design, development, testing, implementation, and everything should be done, and they want to release at a simultaneous manner. Such kind of things and all, if they are expecting means at that time we are just going for this iterative model. You are able to understand this? See, what is the difference between incremental model and iterative model means? In incremental model, the requirements is not going to be clear, like partial requirements will be provided to us. We are just going to take parallel, we are going to do the parallel activities, but with some set of gaps. And we are going to release each and finally, we are going to get phase 1 release, incremental, phase 2 incremental release, phase 3 link. But here, right, it's not like that. All the requirement, we are just going to start at one stress and we are just going to complete at one stress. So the end date, start date and the end date of all the, for all the requirements are going to be very much similar. So that kind of things and all, it is happening in the iterative model. So you're getting this point. The basic idea
Yes.
behind this method is to develop a system through repeated cycles, that is called iterative. So repetition of the cycles and is similar portion at the time incremental. It is going to be very much similar to incremental. Actually, they have copied the things from the incremental only, but they have just modified little bit of the things. Start date and end date of all the phases should be very much, it should be same. That's what they have expecting from this iterative model.
Can you tell me any example, please?
See, that's what, right? Like if this is customer, for example, they have provided the complete requirements, but what they are doing here, like they want everything to be completed within a given time span. For example, so today is 12th. They want the entire 12th May, right? They want the entire application to be released within the 1 month. That is 12th June. Exactly 12th June, he want to find all the requirements in one place. All the requirements should be developed and everything should be done. So for example, in this scenario, what they will do means, from our end, what we will do means, maybe if we are having only some 4 or 5 developers will be there with us. What we will do means, we will either borrow the remaining developers from some set of other teams and we will start the process at a simultaneous manner and we are just going to complete. You are getting this or not? See, like the customer, sometimes customers will not wait more, like they will not be waiting for very long time. Okay, they want everything to be completed within very short time of period. At that time, they are going to move on to this iterative model. See, they are going to break this requirement into some set of modules, some set of different modules. And one module is going to be developed by one set of development team. Another module is going to be developed by another set of development team. Another module is going to be developed by another set of development team. See, even here resources shortage is there, means they want to bring the resource from the other teams and they want to complete the process within a short span of time. You're getting it? Maybe
Yes.
we are having only 5 developers, means we will be able to complete within the given span time, we'll be able to complete only one phase. The 2 phases will be, again, it is going to be pending. So, but it should not happen. We should get the resources and we should get the things to be completed parallelly with us. So that is one kind of scenario. You're getting this, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. See, till now, whatever the things that we have seen, all the models, like nowadays, the people are like most probably 60 to 70% of the companies are like they are not using this particular models. Only you can say that we are just going to only 30 to 40% of the companies and projects still they are referring this particular models like waterfall model. They are still following waterfall model or spiral model or V model, and but almost right. When the people who are following this incremental model and iterative model, right? These people already started using the agile model. See, the next model which we are just going to see here is this is the one. It is the latest model. If you go to any companies, as I told you, 70% of the companies are following this. 70% of the companies are following this agile methodology or agile model. You're getting it, right? See, agile model is the one which is followed like in the latest trend. All the companies are following this agile model only. See, agile model is nothing but it's a combination of incremental plus iterative. So it's a agile model is nothing but it's a combination of incremental and iterative model. You're getting this point. So they have combined this incremental model and iterative model, and they have created one set of model called agile model. It's a combination of incremental and iterative model. I'm just going to make it as I want to show a little bit of different. That is the reason I just made it as a red color. So see, even like if you are just going to enter into any company, right? They are going to say that they are following the agile model only. So definitely it's going to be there. So only few projects they are referring to the old models. Okay. So if they are going to start any new projects, means they are going to with the agile model. See what is there in the agile model. So what is the thing that they have brought up in the agile model? That's what I'm just going to explain you. See here. For example, maybe the customer is there. This customer does not have very much clear about any requirements. So he does not have any requirements and all. He is not clear about the things, but he is going to only give us some information saying that. So this is the process we are just following in our company. This is the manual process we are following in our company. That manual process, this is called manual process. This is going to call them like manually they are following some set of things. So that manual process needs to be converted into a software. That's what the customer is going to say here. But he is not very much clear. See, he cannot provide, he can explain what are the things happening in his environment, but he cannot convert that requirements into some set of software related document and all. He cannot prepare that. He cannot prepare the document for us. So if we are not going to get any document from the customer, how we are just going to manage the things? So for this kind of purpose, this kind of reasons and all, and this is one of the reason. And another reason is he is not clear about the software how they are going to get, but he want to develop the things. So what we are just going to do means, from our end, there is a person called the product owner. Okay, there will be a person called product owner from our end, and also either a business analyst, either a product, we are going to call him as a product owner or business analyst. So these person, what they are going to do means, they are going to study the requirements. They are going to study and understand what is the manual process that is happening in the requirement side, and sorry, in the company side, manual process. And he is going to come up with some set of epics. We are just going to call him as an epics. Here I'm talking talking about the agile process. Okay. It's almost like 8 o'clock, right? Like, is it fine for you if I'm just going to continue for some more time, or otherwise freshly we'll start the agile process by tomorrow? We'll see.
I'm okay if you continue.
Pardon?
I'm okay if you continue for some more time.
What about others?
I'm also okay.
Yeah, okay, you can continue, Rajesh.
Okay.
Yeah, we are okay.
Okay, thank you. See here, I'm talking about the agile process. See, the usually what is the manual process they are following in their company? These people, that is a product owner, is going to study and understand, and he is going to come up with some set of requirements called epics. Here, when the agile process gets started, right? So here we are just going to call the requirements as an epics here. Here in the agile process, how our methodology is going to be means, we are the complete requirements will not be provided by the customers. Only this product owner is able to understand some set of things, and he is going to provide maybe 1 or 2 lines of maybe 1 or 2 lines of, he is going to understand, and he is going to prepare one set of document that is called epics, and maybe some 1 line, 2 lines, or 3 lines, or 5 lines of document he has prepared based on his understanding. First, he is going to take one set of part of the thing, and he is going to write that particular as an requirements. Here, requirements means we are just going to call it as an epics, EPICS, epics. Okay. So once this has been prepared, and we, like, this product owner is going to sit with everyone, like he's going to call the customers, and he's going to call the product owner, product owner, or otherwise there is a people called scrum masters and project managers, and some set of leaders. So these people, after getting this particular epics, we are just going to have a meeting with all the customer. This person is going to showcase this epics to the customer and saying that, hey boss, this is your, like, I have just from my understanding of your system, manual system, we are planning to develop this kind of software. We are just going to start with some 2 to 3 lines of requirements. Is it fine for you? Whatever whatever the assumptions that I have taken, so is my assumptions are correct or wrong? That's what this person is going to convey it to the customer. And also this product owner is going to ask the same question to all of these people. There is a project manager, leader, like he is going to just give the information to these people. If there is any thoughts of these particular people, he is going to collect. And in the similar way, the customer needs to confirm here, yes, this is the requirements only I am expecting. You just start doing the developing the process. In case if I feel that if there is any changes required on that, I will let you know. I'll just analyze and let you know. That's what we are just going to get the confirmation from the customers. Then we will take each and every epic and we are going to little bit elaborate. The customer, after seeing this particular point, customer can come up and give some set of another like some set of requirements. Maybe he's going to give some set of requirements. So we are just going to get more requirements. Requirement 1, requirement 2, requirement 3, requirement 4, or something like that. So after getting this complete little bit of complete details of this requirement, all these things we are just going to call it as a requirement. So from here we are just going to split that requirement in as an user stories. User stories. So user stories means what? This requirement itself, we in this particular like this, we are just going to elaborate this requirements, and we are going to write more number of lines after, because he has analyzed something. After discussing customer, he has provided some details. So he has given lot of details. So this requirement should be like this, like this, like this. They have just specified. And after discussing with our team also, we got some more ideas and they have also elaborated these requirements. And these people also had, they may have some ideas, right? They also will provide some set of ideas. Even here in the leaders, right? Quality manager and as well as quality leaders also will be involved in this point of time. QA manager and QA leaders. Okay. So we also will have some set of ideas. We'll be also providing like some set of elaborating that particular requirements. And we are just going to get more clear on this. And then only we are going to write more number of clear set of requirements. Requirements means nothing but we are just going to specify that in an user stories. I'll just show you that regarding that user stories, how the user stories are going to get created. So some one line of code, they have elaborated into some set of requirements, and in that they are going to create some set of user stories. Okay. So once this user stories is done means from here only we as a team going to take like here the developer is going to work on this user story, tester is going to work on this user stories. So like this, we are just going to take one piece of requirements. Again, they are going to break this requirement into some set of requirements. In that requirements, we are just again going to break it into one requirement into some lot of user stories. User story 1, this one is user story 1, this one is user story 2, this one is user story 3. Like this, we are just going to split this user stories into some set of, the requirements into some set of user stories. After that, we as a development team are going to work on these particular user stories only. So till now it's clear. This is going to be the agile process. Like this, it's going to be like this. So now and so tomorrow I'm just going to explain you what is the real agile, like this is the requirements, how we are just getting the requirements from the customer. That's what I have just told you. What is the real agile process is, we'll see that tomorrow. So now related to requirement, you understood, right? Initially,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
So anyway, I'll just repeat once again, maybe when we were discussing about the complete process. Okay. If you have any doubts also, you can just ask me that. Okay. Tomorrow I'll just start this agile process, how the real agile process is going to get, how we as a how the developers are going to work, how the testers are going to work when we are just going to have the releases. So here in the agile methodology, we are going to have releases for every 2 to 3 weeks of once we are just going to release it to the customer. So that regarding that, I'll just explain you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Rajesh, thank you.
Thank you.